How's it going, everyone? Today we're going to be looking at the set Hot Air Arena, or some people are calling it Heat Wave Arena. Either way, we're going to be looking at these card prices that are currently selling on eBay, and there's been a ton of sales on these cards on eBay. And we're also going to be looking at the cards that we're going to be getting: Marnie's Morpeko and Steven's Beldam. And let's go ahead and just start looking at these cards, everyone, because we're going to be getting these cards in Destin Rivals. And that set's going to be coming out sometime in May. And it's going to be pretty wild, you guys. So right now you can see that each of these cards individually are going for about $20. You got the Morpeko and the Beldam right here. Pretty interesting cards, right? They're going to go crazy for English. I already know prices are going to be probably like in the 60s or 70s for these cards. And luckily, the set is really large in Destin Rivals, so there's going to be a ton of value. And if you can see right here, there's PSA 10s already for sale, $255 for a set right here of both of these cards. So you're paying about almost $150 each after taxes. There's also the decks you can get about $30 a piece right here. And so, yeah, these cards are really sweet, and a lot of people are buying them. So, yeah, the Stevens Beldam and Marnie. My bad, guys. And so we're going to be looking at these cards. Like I said, here's the full set list, right? Or at least the secret rares from PokeBeach.com. Highly recommend for all your news. And, yeah, Destin Rivals cards, Marnie and Steven decks. We're going to be getting those illustration rares. So let's go ahead and just start looking at the prices on eBay. But we're also going to be looking at the actual data, everyone. So if you're here for the data, we're going to be tracking the sales right here for each of those chase cards. So let's go ahead and look at TCG Player, or actually not TCG Player, sorry guys, eBay, because we currently don't have a whole lot going on TCG Player for this set. You can get the Ethan's Ho-Oh and the Typhlosion for $214. I've seen anywhere from $197 to $215. Individually, these cards for Typhlosion are actually going up $27 here, $24 there, $25, $24. Look at how many copies this seller has right here, and they're still selling them for $39.99. Now, the popularity of this set is huge in Japan. And then, I was able to get some copies of these, like 8 of them for $17. It was a sweet deal. But the price has actually been going up. It's weird. The prices were dropping for the Ho-Oh and the Typhlosion just a little bit, by a few dollars, maybe $10 or $20 for the Ho-Oh. I think the cheapest I saw was $160 for it. And now they're just starting to go up. So by like another $20 or $30. And again, this Typhlosion, like I said, is creeping up. It was initially selling for about $24. Now you could see $27, even $34 with 39 copies sold. So this card, I got in early and I got lucky. It didn't seem too expensive. I didn't pay $24, but I was willing to pay $17 on a sweet deal. Again, like I said, there's some lots you can get with like the Lapras, the Roserade and Cynthia, that Typhlosion, the Ninetales, and the Misty Psyduck, all for about $110. So there's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you're paying about $10 each per card, which isn't a bad deal, especially considering this Typhlosion is selling anywhere from $25 to $30 right there alone. But you can see right here, the Misty Psyduck, you're getting a sweet deal, $41 right here, $34. So already in this lot, you have two, $34 card and let's say a $25 card. That's already like $60 right there, just in those two cards alone. And then you're getting all these other pieces. So if you're looking to collect these cards, check the prices, see if they fluctuate. We're getting reprints for Battle Partners, the Japanese booster box, and we might even get more hot air or Heat Wave Arena booster boxes coming in soon. If you're interested in booster boxes, I have a wholesaler that's currently selling them for about $85 from Japan. So let me know if you're interested. You could just hit me up in the comments and I'll try to link you guys up. And he sells through Instagram and either Wise or PayPal. PayPal is a good way to go when you haven't bought from someone. from Japan and it's your first time buying because you're more protected. But yeah, the Misty Psyduck, $49 there, $30 here with $5 shipping. Not too bad. I'm going to save that for later. $34, $139 if you get four of them, which is more than 120 bucks. So it's probably not the best deal right there. But yeah, you can even get the set of two right here, 50 bucks, 25 each. Yeah, so the Misty Psyduck, about $30 to $40 for that card right there. And we're going to be looking at the data too, this just so we can see the trends of these cards. 1998 for the Lapras, Misty's Lapras, $24 and $17 right here, so not too bad. And like I said, you can get the two together for about 25 a pop. And then look at this Cynthia's Garchomp, incredible card, $300 right here. 274, but you also get the Roserade, which we'll look at the price of the Roserade, 259 for this individual card. And what's going to be interesting that we want to see is the English version going to help bring the prices for these cards up, like the Cynthia's Garchomp? If we get, if this is 260 and we get Destined Rivals and there's just so many hits in this set, so many great cards that people are chasing, I'm sure that the pull rates will be somewhat difficult. It's going to be a large set. Could we see this card, go up to like $350? We saw that with the Lily's Clefairy. Check out that video. It's coming out on Monday as I'm filming this of this upcoming week. But yeah, prices right now on Sunday, there's a little bit of discrepancy between these two and $299, $259. So like I've been saying, Battle Partners cards were dropping pretty significantly these past 3 months. And look at the detail of this card, you guys. Look at the texturing, the stadium. Garchomp is back, you guys, after Paradox Rift. Here's another lot for $109. Like I said, you get the Ninetales, the Ethan's Typhlosion, even the Lapras, $25, and the Misty Psyduck. Another interesting cool card is this Ethan's Adventure. It's really popular in Japan. Who knows what it'll be like for English? It could drop over time because Ethan's a cool trainer and everything, but I don't know how big of a following these trainer cards have been having. $69, $66. It is a really nostalgic card for any Gen 2 lover though. This is the character I believe you're using in the game for the most part. It pretty much looks like him. But yeah, about a $60 to $70 card. And like I said, booster boxes, I have a Japanese wholesaler that's selling them for about $85. But online, they've been creeping back up in price. I don't know if these are, US sellers that are just trying to capitalize on as much gains as they can. And maybe they got the wholesale price at like $80 and they're trying to make a quick $30. But look at all these booster boxes, 129, 105. This one's actually from Japan. So it could be that this set is getting so popular that prices are starting to go up. When I asked my Japanese wholesaler just a few days ago, he was willing to sell them for $86 plus, I don't know, maybe a little bit of a fee, maybe 3% on Wise. And I think it's a lot higher on PayPal. But let's go ahead and get to the data, everyone. This set just recently came out. It looks like it came out around March 3rd. This card initially came out, the Cynthia's Garchomp EX, at $349. We have a sale for $289, $264. A sales ranging on March 13th from $264 and $230. So the low of that day was $230, the high was $264. Next day, same thing, $234, the high was $288. Right here, two sales on March 15th, $246, $269. March 18th, $225. That's been the cheapest price we've seen in terms of a sale. And then up to $299 on the same day, you guys. A lot of people are looking to collect these cards and, maybe FOMO a little bit on these cards. Maybe they're trying to grade them. $263, $249. And like my last video on Battle Partners, I highly recommend you check it out because you could just see most of the cards were trending in the downward direction and some of them are starting to recover a little bit. So, there's always opportunities that you could look for, but just be careful because these cards are extremely expensive, right? They're Japanese, so it's a little more niche. But if you're looking to collect these cards, just check the prices, especially when Destined Rivals comes out. Who knows how available that set's going to be with the amount of demand we have right now. So just make sure you can afford your collection or your investment if you're looking to make an investment. And there's so many plays in Japanese, like the Articuno, I think, is a good play in Battle Partners or the Whale Lord. Um, let's look at the sales. 248 on March 20th, and most recently, 249 up to $300. And you can see right here all the sales: 285, 300, 249. So it's about a $249 to $285 card with the sale that was at $299. So $240 looks like your best deal actually for the Cynthia's Garchomp EX card. Next we have, one of my favorites. I think I like the Typhlosion better. It would have been sick if that card had texture. But this is a secret art rare or special art rare, the Ethan's Ho-Oh. And look at the volatility right here. So initially it was about a $200 card. That's a little expensive, I felt. I was looking at the card prices for, I guess when the set came out. And it's interesting. This is February 18th. So I think the set has been longer than I said earlier, March 3rd. So my bad. Looks like we have more data for this card. February 18th, 199. 155, 110, that must have been a steal. 154, and then we have sales in the 130s to 150s on March 13th. 150s to 170s, 150s to 185, 165, and then it's starting to solidify at around 165 to 190, 180, 165, 160, 164. So 165 seems to be the cheapest value you can get for this card in terms of buying. The best price looks to be like 164, and the higher prices are around 198 and even 205. So the medium seems to be like 165 right now. Last couple sales have been for 179 and 165, and that's what I've been seeing. The cheapest I saw was like 150s for a couple days, just a couple copies, but a lot of other people were trying to sell a 170, like 170, 170, and you would find one seller that was maybe selling for 158 plus like $5 shipping or something, or even free shipping. So you're looking about the 160s for the Ethan's Ho-Oh. Maybe there's a play right there, either grading it, like I said, in Battle Partners, the End Zoroark had like a 90% gem 10 rate, and it's an incredible card that you can get raw for $70, $80, and it's dropped significantly from 150 to like the 80s for the End Zoroark. So could we see something similar for Heatwave Arena? The set just came out like a week or two ago, maybe even further back. I forget, we're in already 3 weeks into March, so maybe it's been like longer than that. Maybe it's been like 4 or 5 weeks. We can see data right here for the Cynthia's Roserade: $36, 45, 36, 30, 41, and then it was kind of stable for a few days at around $30, and now you're seeing some prices as low as $14 and as high as $32. So yeah, it looks like lately it's been around $25 to around $15, $17. Not too bad for, honestly, a really cool, incredible trainer and the Roserade. I used to battle with Roserade, so it's a little nostalgic for me. And I just think this is like a pretty sweet anime looking design of Cynthia. Here we have the Rapidash. Some people really like this card, some people don't. It does kind of remind me of the Galarian Rapidash that's like touching the flower from Chilling Reign. So I don't know if that's a callback, but it is pretty cool. Maybe there's some inspiration right there. Initially, this card was cheap. February 26th, we have some data for sale: $7.98, $8.98, $11.98, $11 right here. Got up to $17 on this sale. And then look at the volatility right here. We see sales as low as $5, $6, and as high as $19 just a week ago or so. So $14, $19. But for the most part, this card is selling for $6.45. I think if you don't mind having a Japanese card instead of the English card, it might be something to look at, because the English is coming out soon. English is coming out, in what, 2 months? April, May. So right around the corner, we're already getting Destined Rivals, and Journey Together is about to come out this upcoming Friday. Next, we have the Arvin's Gradient. Not as popular, $12 and about $6 to $7 with some sales at $5.39, $5.25, and $5.19. The Hydrapple, we had initially sales for around $16, then $11, and now most of the sales are about $4. And then the Rotom, we have the most recent sales at around $6 and $4, $5. So I think the majority of people are looking for this Typhlosion. It looks really great. We're going to get that card in Destined Rivals. And then the Misty Psyduck, it looks to be one of the more expensive cards too, at around $34 to $41. And you can also get the lot of cards right there. But for the most part, you have the Lapras, the Cynthia's, Garchomp right there. And, you know, most recent data, we're seeing around $249. And most recently, the Ethan's Ho-Oh EX, $165, which I honestly think is a fair price for an epic artwork. And yeah, that's everything, guys. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.